Welcome back to the Purpose to Prosperity Summit, where you are here to tap into your purpose, your gifts, your strengths, and marry that with your prosperity, your abundance, your financial freedom, meaning that you get to take all this stuff and turn it into an amazing business that you then get to run from wherever you want in the world. And to that end, I have an amazing person here with me who I actually just have so much experience with. He's the one who trained me on the tech that I get to use for my business, and that allows me to just have whatever business I want to have from anywhere in the world. And so let me tell you a little bit about him, and then we'll go into some of his tips for you on all the things tech. Eran Bucai is CEO and founder of .com Truths. He helps aspiring and existing coaches, course creators, and membership site owners make a living online by reducing their tech overwhelm and creating better systems and processes using software tools so that they can make more money with less effort. Welcome, Eran. Hello.
Hello, great to see you. Thanks a lot
Great
for
to
having
see
me.
you. You know what? I just had to have to tell everybody, because they get to relate. So right before Eran and I got on this call, he was like, wait, Wi-Fi, like all the things, with the tech. Like, it's not just those of us who consider ourselves not techie, but also even the tech gurus like Eran, who are like, hang on, like, tell me what happened. Give me a little run through. You were working somewhere else. The Wi-Fi went down. What happened?
Yeah, so I the way I where I live, where I work, because I work from home, obviously, and where I live is a really nice cafeteria downstairs. It's really convenient. The food gets served, and it's a really nice cafeteria. And that's where I work usually when I go and do calls and stuff like that. So I went to go use it. It's nighttime. And it's closed because something happened and somebody made a policy that you can't allow there. And I'm like, no, this is my office space, right? Anyway, I got the security guard to let me in anyway because he knows me. I'm reliable. I'm cool. But then the Wi-Fi wasn't working, so I'm like, oh my god, I have to go back to my apartment. And then my apartment doesn't have. It's not as pretty as downstairs, the cafeteria, and so it's a bit of a virtual background and blurring the background and but it's the day-to-day of entrepreneur. It's I did a post on Facebook today, first world problems, honestly, like minimal whatever,
It's
we
what
deal
we
with
get
it.
to deal with. Right? Like,
Yeah,
I remember, you and I first connected when you were living in Australia, and it was like, I was like, do you even sleep? Like, what is the time? And then now you're in Dubai, and then it's like, I work off of the cafeteria because it's just a prettier background. And I think so many people feel this way, like with the tech, like, do I need a Zoom background? Is it going to be blurry? Is it going to be light? And, Eran and I were just like, it gets to be what it is, because we get to move forward with bringing forth this information to you guys. But, we just get to show up, right, Eran? Like, that's part of doing this thing, is just showing up, working with the tech as much as you can, and then just letting it flow, right? Being you and sharing what I guess I think what the content that people actually really need. I think you and I are both heart-centered, where we just want to bring all our information that we can to people so that they can do what they're here to do, right?
absolutely. And it's important that they know also, like, if we didn't say that story just now, they wouldn't have no clue about the hassle. But it's important to share that behind the scene, because it's not all rosy. Like, things do go wrong with the tech. Doesn't matter how good you might be, things do go wrong, things happen. That's entrepreneurship. So anyway, it's important to know you're not alone you're not alone. It's all good.
No,
We
I can't tell
understand.
you. You're not alone. And how many times, Iran, was I like, Iran, like, this is, I'm about to do this thing or this event or this, go live with this offer or something, and this is not working or something. And you're like, I'm right there, and just fix it. And so I love that you said that, because we do get to show that side. And so, okay, now we're going to get to the nitty gritty, because I want to maximize the time we have together so that you can just give us many tips. I mean, you guys, whoever's watching this, Eran not only taught me how to work in Kajabi, which is a platform that I actually do most of my courses and everything in. I have several platforms, but that's the main one. But also, he just helped me get out of my head with being not techie. So by like session 3 with him, I was like, oh, I actually know how to do some of this stuff. And we get to overcome the fear and the mindset of, well, I'm just not techie, so I don't get to do this. At first, I was like, my eyes were like, I don't, what is this? And then by session 3, which you were like, I don't think you'll need that many sessions. Session 3, I was building my own stuff myself. Now, as an entrepreneur, you don't have to do that, but I would highly recommend that you become familiar with some of these platforms. If you're a coach, course creator, membership owner, or something, that you listen to what Eran has to say with all the things that I'm going to ask him about the different platforms and where you can begin and everything, because he'll walk you through some of these fears and some of these self-identities that are, not valid when it comes to putting your purpose and your gifts out there. And also he'll give you the tips so you can see which platform is right for you and, where you get started. So to that end, Eran, step one, okay? What do you say to people who are like, I am not techie, like how I was when I first came to you? I'm not techie. I don't, I have this coaching that I know how to do, but how am I even going to get started with anything tech-wise?
Yeah, totally. So obviously that's like one of the most common questions that I have, right? And there is a couple of important things to understand about it. Number one, the technology there, you're not getting involved with the technology to become a tech expert. This is not a new career path you're trying to take on, which is where people can get really into it and they get into the rabbit hole of the tech and stuff like that. Like you're not like you, whatever if you're, let's say you're a mindset coach or you're a health coach or you are a fertility coach or whatever it is that you do, right? It could be any type of thing, right? You're there to use the tech to facilitate being able to do that specialty, right? So if you are spending more than 20% of your time on the tech stuff, really, you really are already overcomplicating it, right? Mm-hmm. You're really making it more difficult than what it should be. And, me being the tech guy, being that's my business, it's almost in my best interest if people waste their time on it. But I'm telling you, it's actually so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary because it's not what's going to make a difference in your life. Because I know people who are 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs who use Kajabi. And I know others who are that level who use WordPress and others who use something else. The tech stuff, it's all about using that to facilitate what it is you're supposed to do. And it's okay to also just get going and then figure things out as you go to some degree as well. So I think that's the first thing I think it's really important as well to understand. Yeah.
Okay, good. I love that because I didn't even think of that, Eran. And it's true. Some of us approach this as if you're an overachiever or you're, a high performer and all this, you're going to approach it as like, I got to know all the tech. And you don't. I love the percentage that you gave us. Like, listen, if you're doing more than 20%, like you're overkill. And how many of us, I know that you have some products and some things that you're always like, people are in shiny object syndrome, right? The SOS. And it's like, is it this platform? But what about this one? And is it better? And what about this email system? And what about this thing? And it's like, are you even selling anything in your business? Do you
have a client? Like, like,
right. Like, do you have a product or a client? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, stop focusing on those things and start focusing on the things that actually really do matter. But yes, you need the base. So let's talk about what that base is. So if you, let's say, it was back in the day when you and I first met and I didn't even have the stuff that I had. What would you say to me if I was just brand new starting out in business? What do I need as far as the tech goes?
Yeah. So the first thing that you need is a way to collect email addresses and build a list. Now, people overcomplicate at the beginning when they think, oh, do I need a website? Do I not need a website? Let's just define what a website is. A website is simply a page, 1 or 1,000 pages, doesn't matter which one, where somebody can come to your website and see you there. The website is basically you digitized, okay? You as a human, what you would do as a human, whether it's us communicating in a conversation like we are right now with a video or text format, where it's a one-pager that just does something that's basically automating you being there. Instead of you being there in person, somebody arrives there. So it doesn't have to be a full-blown menu and about me and tools and resources and summits and da-da-da. Like, it doesn't matter. Just one page. And that one page you need at first is a landing page, because that's the first page they'll land on. And that landing page typically should have a place for them to enter their name and email so they can request some of value, like why should they give you the email, right? Where they then join your email list. And that way you're building an audience. And that's really the first thing you should do. It doesn't matter if you're a coach, you're a freelancer, you're an agency, you're a course creator, you're a membership site owner. There's different strategies on what type of landing pages you would do. But the first thing you need that one pager of it. actually collect the email addresses.
Okay, so you're talking about, the definition of the type of website or the type of, first presence that somebody needs is that ability to, that opt-in page, that reg page, whatever you want to call it, that ability to, if you're in the summit, you encounter that page at the very beginning, right? Where you saw a video of me and I said, hey, this is what we're doing. And you saw put your name, put your email, boom. That's a registration page, or it's an opt-in page, whether you have an event or you don't have anything built yet and you just want to, Eran mentioned something like, well, you're going to give people something of value, right? So you want to give a freebie or create something, a lead magnet, so that people will give you something for something, right? They give you their email and you give them. Can you run us through some of these, maybe, I know you're like the king of the lead magnet. You're really good at creating this. So give us some of the examples that people can create to get these emails.
Totally. So I like to keep things really simple. I mean, obviously, in the case of what we're doing now, like a summit, you would register for an event to, get live interviews and stuff like that. But when you're getting started, really just a simple PDF with something that's short, punchy, high value, that talks to your ideal customers' pain points and gives them something that consider it like you want to give them like a sugar hit a little bit, like or a caffeine hit. You want to give them something like, oh yeah, that's really valuable. That actually helped me. And that they were able to consume it in literally a couple of minutes. That's the best lead magnet that I feel is probably the best one to get started with, and also builds the relationship the fastest because it's just a quick win. You want to give your people a quick win because as soon as you give them a quick win, they'll be like, oh yeah, I wonder what else they have, right? And I think that's the most important part. And just a simple PDF, open up a Google Doc, type up whether it's, the top 3 challenges for people who want to lose weight and how to do it, or a recipe, top 5 recipes or whatever. If it's going to give you like really quick, suggestions, then I think that's the easiest one. And literally convert it into a PDF. It's, you could literally, if you're taking more than an hour to create a lead magnet like that, you're genuinely making it more complicated than what it should be. An hour.
And again, okay, so no more than 20%, focusing on tech, and don't take any more than an hour to create a lead magnet. I tell you, I have been there where I was creating like the 11 page, it's got to have this and it's complicated and it's pretty and I'm in Canva and whatever, and it didn't convert, right? And then I'm like, well, listen, just a replay of this, and boom, people are like, I love it because it fits the people that the pain points, like you said, and the need, and because it fits not being an overwhelm. Okay. So like tech overwhelm is something that you and I talk about, right? Where people are like, oh my God, all the things. And then there's also like freebie or content overwhelm where everyone's like, well, let me give you the 30-page thing. And you're like, nobody wants a 30-page thing. They want the 1-page thing. And that's the one next step that they need to do in their specific journey. So I love that you mentioned that. Let's talk emails. Okay. So you said the first thing somebody needs to have is to be able to collect emails. Totally agree. Email list is the thing. You sell off of the email list, you nurture off of the email list, etc. What are the platforms, or, right now, as of when we're talking, right? March of 2023, whenever people are going to see this, what are the platforms that you recommend for a beginner or starting a business for email?
Yeah. So I personally love System.io. That's the one that I love. It's funny because I also love Kajabi, right? Kajabi is amazing. There is System that's amazing. They're kind of the 2 spectrums in terms of price, right? They both give you everything you need. They give you the landing pages, they give you the funnels. They both even have a community. They both have course platform, the video hosting, and one of them has better X than another and vice versa, right? So it just depends. For example, the email automation, segmentation, the community in Kajabi is far superior, right? The builder and System is superior. So there's different variables in terms of what's better, but both will work, both will be wonderful. And I really do prefer typically the all-in-ones because they're just easier to grow with. Because if you are going to not overcomplicate your technology, not overcomplicate your business, and not procrastinate, you will rapidly scale to the point where you're like, okay, I need to sell a digital product. I need to create a summit. I need to sell a course. And then you're going to end up in that rabbit hole. Okay, what platform should I do? And then you'll go and find another course platform. And then you'll find, oh, what I need for a website. And then what I need for this. And all of a sudden you've got 6 pieces and you'll be like, okay, now how do I connect them all? And you're already exceeding that 20% that I talked about at the beginning, right? Yeah. Whereas like you and I, like we did Kajabi, you learned Kajabi. Kajabi does a lot of what you need. Of course, things are evolving, you get the little jot form for your surveys for, for Summit, and, it gets a little bit more fancy, but at the beginning, that's just not necessary, like what you're doing at the beginning. I really love the all-in-ones to start with. Yeah.
Okay, so explain what's an all-in-one versus not an all-in-one. So if people who are like, what in the heck, Kajabi or Keep or System.io, those are all-in-one platforms. What is that? And what is the other alternative for people that you have seen?
Totally. So if you were to go with an email software, dedicated only email software, that's what they do primarily. And that's their main core focus.
Like MailChimp, or which other ones do you?
MailChimp, MailerLite, GetResponse, ConvertKit, Sendinblue, Aweber. There's a lot of them, right? There's dozens of them. And you would go with one. Now, what will happen is that, let's say you go with something that's the cheapest and one of the simplest one to start with is MailerLite. And then you'll be like, okay, great. So now you've built a list. Now you're like, okay, I want to launch an online course. So I want to create a sales page to sell something on the back of the somebody giving me my email. So then you can't do that in MailerLite. So you'll be like, okay, great. What do I use? And then you'll find out about another platform that's more of a checkout payment option platform.
Like
and it's called like Thrivecart, let's say, right? Or Semcart, right? Now you're like, okay, great. Thrivecart is, an extra $700, or Semcart, which is an extra $99 a month. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, so then hang on, do they talk to each other? And then you'll figure out how to connect them. And then you'll be like, you know what, I'm ready to do an online course. And then you'll be like, okay, Thrivecart has an online course, but there's no video hosting. So then you have to go find a video hosting. And it's like, okay, but then how do I embed? And then it just goes off the rails. It just does, right? Now, if you're into that tech stuff, good for you. I know my customers, 99.9%, leave me the frick alone. Just give me the simplest, shortest path. And that's why I love System, and then I love Kajabi, because yes, it's it gives you, it's more than what you need when you're getting started. But if you're focused, which you should be, if you're getting the right instruction, the right direction, and so on, then, and you got to think with as an entrepreneur, as a mindset that you are going to be focused. You're not going to be, going around in circles. You're just going to be better off going off a tool like that, with something that's going to have everything in one place.
Okay, so let's talk. Okay, so what about pricing? Okay, because I want them to understand the difference between what they're getting and, when they get started, or when, you guys watching you, when you get started. I didn't start off on Kajabi. I know what Eran is saying, but at the beginning I was like, okay, I think I had my very first course out of Facebook group. Remember? I did it in a Facebook group. I don't think you're supposed to do that. I don't know Facebook policy or anything like that. Please don't get me in trouble with Facebook. But like I just put the course there. I even sold $10,000 off of that course, and with a PayPal link. And so yep. You get to have email, you get to have somewhere to host your stuff if you're going to be having PDFs or videos and stuff like that. And you, of course, have to have a payment processor, right? Which is Stripe or PayPal or something. These all-in-ones, they have all of that, which is why Eran is like, if you're really going to take your business seriously, if you're really going to move forward with this is what you get to do. And that's the conversation you and I had when we first got together. And I was like, all this stuff, it just seems overwhelming. You're like, yeah, but I think at the stage of like where you are and what you want to do with your business, you get to move forward a little bit faster with these, platforms. Tell me about the price, because I know what Kajabi is, but walk me through. And I haven't heard you mention Keep, or which used to be Infusionsoft, right? Like, tell me why not? Like, is there like a downside? Tell me.
Their support is horrible. Okay.
No support. Okay.
I was actually a Keep partner, and I stopped because I couldn't get support, let alone my own customers. So, just painful, their email is great. Their segmentation is great. But everything else is average at best, unfortunately. So,
okay. So before you answer that, let me say, support is a huge deal. Yes, I have Eran. He's like, I reach out to him for anything, but let's say it's like, I always tell Eran he's a vampire. He never sleeps because he's always like available. I can reach him. But if for some reason I can't reach him, if I'm in Kajabi support, like they're really good at, coming right back to you with their chats. If you can't
Yeah.
have support, imagine you're like in the middle of a launch and something doesn't work in one of your pages, you will freak out. So support is a huge deal, which again is why we have, people like you. But okay, so that's good to know. All right, about Keep. So keep going.
Yeah. So Kajabi
Right.
is great. And you brought up a really good point about stage of business, because like you said, you had a Facebook group, you made some money, you made 10 grand, whatever, right? That's where Kajabi was a good choice for somebody, in your shoes, because he had some cash flow. A lot of people are not even at the stage where made any money at all, right? So pricing wise, I typically say to the people, go with System.io because it's $197 a year, as opposed to Kajabi, which is $2 grand a year, right? So it's a big difference. Now, it does have some limits. For example, you can have up to 5,000 email subscribers, whereas with Kajabi, you can have 25,000 email subscribers on the plan that you're on, right? So, but like I said at the beginning, you don't need that many anyway, right? But you are already at a different level. You had a YouTube channel, you had this, you had that, you have 2 languages, those different things, right? So it's a whole it's all coming back to me now, so
Like, I remember, yes.
yeah, I remember.
Way back
It's all
when.
coming way back when we were kids.
Yes.
But when somebody typically gets started, they don't have they haven't made any sales yet. They're still at early stages. And with System, it's just number one, it's much more affordable to start with. And then also there's different features that in System make it so I've got different templates that you can get something set up within a matter of an hour, a couple of hours, you can have the whole thing set up basically. So that just makes life a lot easier. Yeah, obviously there's always a learning curve, like any platform, like we talked about support, there's always a learning curve. It doesn't matter which one you pick, you're gonna have to learn each one of them to one degree or another. There's always that. So, you're now used to Kajabi. If you're gonna go to System, you're gonna go through the learning curve. There's no two ways about it. So that's gonna happen anyway. The point is pick one, start, do the bare minimum, and then do that 80%, which is go and find customers.
Yep.
Right? And
Which is the
serve your
purpose of
customers.
the email list. Yeah, the purpose of lead gen and putting a freebie and everything, and other different ways to lead gen. But yeah, that's the main thing, right? I also want to make sure I say to people who are like, what the heck is Kajabi or this or that, all these things, that these platforms that are all in one, they also, of course, offer a monthly, right? So I paid $2,000 for Kajabi. And, for me as a business owner, it makes sense to pay it in full because they give you an advantage. It's a little bit cheaper when you pay in full. And it's a write-off, of course, as your business. And I was able to do that because my business was already up and running when I, started getting set up with this. If you're absolutely brand new, no clients, you're like, I have this much budget and that's it, you can actually get started in one of these platforms, but you can do it with a monthly plan, which is like, 100 and something, or you can go to a all-in-one like system and, you can work through that. I love Kajabi because I'm already used to it. And I think back in the day, remember Eran, I think there weren't that many options either, right? I think it was Keep, formerly Infusionsoft, Entreport, I don't even, and Kajabi. And that was it as far as the all-in-ones. And so you have a lot more options. It depends, you can do a little bit of research, or you can reach out to Eran, and he's the one that will be able to tell you, like, at this stage of the game, this is the right thing for you. I sent all of my coachees, all my clients to him, and he's like, yep, this route, yep, that route. So that he can just guide you guys. And we'll make sure that we ask him how you guys can reach him so that he can, field all of your questions. So what would you say, Eran, is like the biggest hurdle that you see people to, when they're trying to set up the tech stuff? Okay. So like, besides the mindset, besides the fear, the tech overwhelm, the shiny object syndrome, or, not knowing what to pick, what's the biggest learning curve that they have to overcome?
Yeah. So it's interesting because I've been doing this for a couple of years now, I've kind of figured out, because I kind of know like every session, okay, what is the thing that they get stuck on, right? I can tell you an example of a very, very common one, and like everybody pretty much stumble on it, is when it comes to connecting the domain name, right? Because you have to go and change a bunch of records, and I won't even bore you with the names. Like you have to go and change some records. And that's just like, I mean, you're just cross-eyed, it's just like, what is this, And honestly, like I know people legitimately, they spend days trying to do this and messing it up and crying over it. And they come, like I literally have people crying, coming to me crying. It's awful, right? And I kid you not, it takes 5 minutes to do if you know what you're doing, right? So I created a service. It's a really simple service. Just like I've got tutorials, right? Like I'm more than happy for people to go, like I've got a tutorial on Kajabi, on System, on Zenler or whatever. Go and, watch my tutorials on YouTube. But I also know, don't watch my tutorials on YouTube. Just pay me and my team. Trust me, it will save you hours of agony. And if you can follow instructions, good for you. But honestly, for $50, you'd be better off to just get it done with somebody.
Okay, so I think that's a great point, Eran. Okay, like I think people get to understand too, like, okay, you may not have a budget, but if you're spending, I don't know, like how much, I don't drink coffee, but you're like the coffee king. So how much are you spending on Starbucks? Like you could pay Eran and his team to completely obliterate this pain point from you. I have never done a domain, name change or whatever. I have multiple websites with multiple things that have changed it over time. And I have also multiple businesses. So can you imagine, like, I would be like, so if this is you, right? If this is you, like, and you're thinking to yourself, what's even a domain name? I don't even, and I didn't know I had to move it or, or whatever, like find someone, find Eran, like talk to his team and just really understand that you don't have to do it all by yourself. No lone wolfing, no trying to become the tech expert. Like he said, you don't have to. So what are the things that you do think people actually should know, Eran? Like, what are the things that you're like, okay, go ahead and spend your time on there, not the domain name, but on what?
I'll give you a very important distinction on why I said that as a pain point as to why you should hire somebody to help you as opposed to something else. When you connect a domain name, you have to do it one time and that's it. You'll never have to do it again in your life, pretty much. So why have to learn about that one thing, but you're never going to use that skill ever again? Like you've just wasted 5 hours of your life to learn a skill that you'll never have to use. Like, that's just so silly. And by the time you watch one of my tutorials, we could have done it for you. That's literally how long it takes us, right? That's the most common thing people, when do it for people and it's like, oh, it's done. It's like, oh, that would have taken me 2 days. That's the most common response we get when we actually do it with people, right? And I used to do it, like I think I did yours at Kajabi because that's how we did it, right? But I have a team that does that now because it really was simple to teach them. But I taught them so they could do it for you. I recorded the tutorials for them. I didn't record the tutorials for you. I recorded the tutorials for them so they can learn it, so they could do it over and over, right? So those are the skills that, like, don't bother. Why bother? Ridiculous, right? Now there's other. Yeah, you're gonna do it one. Connect your PayPal, connect your Stripe, connect your domain name, set up your professional email address. All these things, it's 10 minutes each, and it will take you 5 days to learn. Like, it's so silly, where we could do it all in an hour with you, one-on-one, on Zoom, hop on Zoom, tell you where to click, and it's done. That's literally the service, right? So that's an example of the things you don't want to learn because that's just a waste of your time, whether you're making money or not. It really is. Like, if you can afford $50, just pay the $50. It's going to be better for you, or whatever, even if it's $100, like it's just better. Now, skills that are valuable to learn, as an example, is learn how to send an email, right? So that's something you're going to want to do regularly. Now, in the case of like how we work together, and the way I like to work is I hop on Zoom and I do it with you. I do it for you. You see it get done, but then you're watching it get done at the same time. Now, that's valuable because then you learn how to do that. And that's something that you're going to want to learn how to do, because you're not going to want to be in the middle of a launch and be like, oh, I need to wait for somebody to go in. Like, you're writing the email anyway. It's your voice. You're going in, writing the email. You want to be able to hit send, choose your tags, whatever, choose the list. Those skills, yes, you want to learn how to do on your own, because there really are ongoing, recurring skills that you want to learn how to do. So yeah, that's the difference.
I didn't even see it that way. It's so funny. This is part of the thing that I love about the summit, that is just, we get to just look at things from so many different angles, and you're looking at it from the tech angle and the skill, the efficiency angle. And absolutely right. So you don't get to spend your time and energy on things that are going to be like, hey, I'm going to use this one time and then it's done. Why waste your time on that? But you do get to spend your energy on learning how to do the things that are ongoing, such as how do I do an email, in Kajabi, like through the email marketing system so that I can, or whatever system you have on, right? Or MailChimp or something. How do I, pick a template and do the thing and put the button and put all the links and stuff? So, because that's something I'm going to be doing at least weekly. You should be doing something like that, right? And Eran, I get emails from Eran all the time, right? Because I'm part of his membership. So you get to do, some entrepreneurs, they have like a weekly nurturing email, and some people are mailing you like 3 times a day. And it depends on what you like and what you, think your audience needs and wants, but you do get to have that skill. What's another skill that you think people should really learn in terms of tech?
Canva, learning Canva for sure, right? Because you're going to end up using it for your social posts. You can end up using it for graphics, for different things, ebooks, whatever, thumbnails. So definitely Canva is a good skill to learn, and so on. So that's definitely another one. So these are the tools that you're going to need for your regular, if you're going to set up an online course, there's different parts you want to learn how to do, like how to set up a drip, if you got a drip, things along these lines, so yeah.
Okay, now you're getting a little like advanced, like people don't know what drip is. So, the drip is when I'm telling you, like sometimes I get, people like, you said this in your email. What is that? So, and I totally get it. That was me too at the beginning. Drip, like what does that mean? Like even, what's a lead gen? That's a weird word. It could mean many things. Okay, that's your process. Okay, now I get it because I understand marketing, right? And so drip is when, you take your course is not like here, the whole course is available to you, but it, once you pass the first part of the course, then you get to the second part and you get to sort of drip deliver or drip access, drip become available to the client or consumer or whoever purchased your course. So this is all gold, Eran, because, and I, my promise was to the people who are going to come to the summit that people are going to be coming on here and sharing things that are going to be really actionable and implement them. Last year, we did the Purpose to Prosperity Summit, and it was super inspirational and people shared stories. And this year I was like, okay, but what can they take just today as they're watching this and actually do something with it? So whether it's somebody deciding, okay, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that I get to pay, $50 or $100 to get rid of all that tech pain, or I actually should spend time and get really good at, how to manage this email nurturing system that I have, or Canva for design for anything that I get to do, which was another pain point for me. I was like, oh, Canva. And I think I'm not sure if you were the one, but I think you were part of the ones that trained me in Canva too, so that I could just create my lead magnets, social media posts, any gifts. You guys, the guide that you're getting here for this summit, Canva as well. So yeah, I think those are really great points. And I super love that you shared all of this stuff on efficiency and choosing the platforms and choosing where to spend your time. Now you have a free gift for us. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, so I have a landing page checklist, basically a landing page challenge checklist. It's literally a step-by-step with video tutorial, very short, easy to consume, easy to implement tutorial, included with templates on each piece of what to say on the landing page, the thank you page, which is the page after they say their name and email, they give you the name and email, they obviously go to the next page. What do you say there? How do you make that valuable so it builds a relationship? Because the whole point is like, who cares about the email address? You care about the relationship. Mm-hmm. So I've got different strategies that show you how to do that. It's not just the connecting of the tech, but it's like strategy behind it, because again, your tech is just a minuscule percent to serve a specific purpose, which is to build an audience, right? So the tutorials aren't just tech, but it's like strategy for how to make it so it actually builds a relationship. So the checklist takes you through every piece of that particular puzzle. So landing page to the thank you page, the email nurturing sequence, the lead magnet, and also all the pesky little tech stuff that I mentioned earlier. It's like, oh my God, the headachy stuff, and that's also where, you might decide like, okay, Eran, can you just do it for me or whatever, that's okay. Or I included a tutorial so you could do it on your own. If you are on a budget, then that's understandable. If you are, when I started online, I didn't have money for Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? Like I was in McDonald's using their free Wi-Fi.
We're back to you not having Wi-Fi, Eran. What's up with it?
I know. 5 years later, I'm making multiple six figures. I still don't have Wi-Fi.
What? It happens. Okay, I love this. This is it seems like a super juicy freebie. I encourage everybody to go in and get it, because I'm telling you, like, Eran just made my life so much easier. He just did. And so he gets to make your life easier too. So also, once you download this, and if you have any questions, or if you do want to reach out to Eran and his team, to get any help on any of this, where can people find you, Eran?
Yeah, so I think the best way, especially if you're on the tech side, if you visit eranfunnels.com, that's probably the best place to go, because it explains my tech software consult side of things, where we can actually connect about actually helping you and giving you personalized advice for the tech. Because, this might all be new to you, right? So there's a lot of stuff there about, goes into way more in depth. And also I usually offer free consultations. We can hop on a Zoom call and do that. I still do it because I think it's really important to just have that initial introduction as well. So definitely, I think that's probably the best place, especially if you're just getting started. Or you just Google my name, Eran Bucai. I've got a lot of websites, a lot of blogs, a lot of content,
He
I'm
ranks high
pretty,
up all the pages.
you can,
SEO.
you'll find
You'll,
me. Yeah.
you'll
Yeah.
find him. Yeah. And I think you have a fantastic Facebook group too, where you put a
Yeah.
ton of content. So share what that is. It's facebook.com/ whatever. What's the name of the group?
So if you go to a domain name .comtruthsgroup.com, it will automatically take you straight to, yeah.
You got
And
your own domain. I love it.
Yeah, I bought a domain name that redirects to the Facebook group. And let me just say something. I think this is really important to understand, because you started Scrappy. We talked about that. You made 10K, Facebook group, PayPal link, Somebody might be thinking, well, why can't I just do the Scrappy thing? Well, no, you should do the Scrappy thing. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But the reason why you have an online business is to make more money with less effort. When you do the Scrappy route, at the beginning to get traction, fantastic, right? As you scale, as you grow, as you want to make more with less effort, you want to ideally automate, systemize, and delegate every piece of your business, both from, from people who don't know you to buying something, and from buying something to fulfilling. You want to automate, systemize, and delegate as much as humanly possible, and just leave the stuff to you, the stuff that you love to do, right? So if you love to do the one-on-ones, you love to do the Zoom calls, you love whatever it is you love to do, keep doing those, but everything else you shouldn't have to worry about. So that's why you would automate and not just do the Scrappy thing forever. That's why those platforms are great, because you can do all of that.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic point, and we can end on that, because let it land that, one, you don't have to do it on your own. Two, you don't have to do everything. Yeah. 3, 20%, if you're doing 30%, if you're doing 21%, you're overdoing it. Okay. Really focus on the main things that you're supposed to be focusing on, to that part of the tech, so that you can then leave everything else to somebody who is an expert at that and can do it very quickly for you. And then you can focus on generating the money, helping the clients, just doing the things that you're the best at. That is why you're in business. That is a great place to end. Eran, thank you so much for coming on here, and first of all, for being my tech person. Okay, I just count on you for so many things. But second of all, for agreeing to come on here and to share all your, golden nuggets and your wisdom and all of your experience, and very transparently saying, like, this is what you need, this is not what you need, and this is where you need to go, and this is not where you need to go when you're all in on your business. When we start Scrappy, it's either, one, we don't have the budget yet, or two, we don't have the commitment yet, right? So we're like, okay, once we go all in, you get to move up very quickly, okay, to focus on the things that you're meant to focus on. So thank you for being here with us and sharing everything. And of course, I will be seeing you, with whatever my next tech situation is.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably be up for that. I'll be up for that.
He will be up, a cup of coffee, wherever in the world he is next, and I'm always like, where are you and when are you going to get, I feel like your older sister, like, you need to get some sleep. He happens to be young and full of energy, and so the rest of us who are in our 40s, we're like, listen, I need 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and Eran, could you take care of this for me, because I just need to go to bed. Thank you so much. And everybody, if you're watching this and you're like, okay, I've been doing this and he says I need to be doing that and whatever, reach out to him. Okay. He can walk you through. He does a free consultation. Take advantage of that. I did as well. And honestly, it just, like, opened my eyes to the possibilities of what I was able to do, one, with my business in order to grow and to scale it, and two, what I got to stop doing so that I could feel that sense of freedom. That is the original reason why we all got into these types of businesses, right? You want financial freedom, and you want location freedom, and you want also time freedom. So there are people to support you to do that. I'm so excited that you continue the journey here in the Purpose to Prosperity Summit with amazing experts like Eran. You know, you get to live your purpose, step into your strengths and your gifts, and you get to also make all the money that you need to have the life that you want. So I will see you on the next video with more amazing experts, and I wish you all the best so that you can really bring your gifts, your purpose, your calling, and your strengths to the world. I'll see you on the next video.